One of the most dramatic drilling rig accidents in Louisiana history.
30 years ago this month, a drilling crew on Lake Penieur missed its mark by hundreds of feet and punctured an underground salt mine.
That mishap set in motion a series of events that created a massive crater. As a powerful whirlpool drained the lake, it swallowed the rig and barges and nearly killed a pair of fishermen. Dave McNamara talks to them in tonight's The Heart of Louisiana.
It may have been the beauty of the oak trees, or perhaps Lake Penieur and the duck hunting that attracted the great 19th century actor Joe Jefferson to build a house on the high ground at Jefferson Island. What he didn't know at the time is that his home sat on top of a salt dome. Salt mining started here in 1920, with workers digging salt from tunnels at depths of up to 1,800 feet. There was enough salt, they say, to mine for hundreds of years. But it came to an abrupt end on November 20th, 1980.
All that morning we had been hearing tremors or feeling tremors at uniform intervals, about 10 to 15 seconds apart.
Mike Richard operated a nursery at Live Oak Gardens.
One of the superintendents from the salt mine came by and said, "We advise you to evacuate all your employees because there's been an accident."
An hour before daylight, a Texaco drilling rig accidentally punctured the salt mine. And what started as a 14-inch hole quickly expanded as the lake began to drain. The rig was abandoned, and more than 50 mine workers escaped the rushing water. On the surface, Leonce Viator and his nephew were just beginning the day at their favorite fishing hole.
I said, "There's something wrong. The water's creeping towards the mine site, and the fish were jumping to joy."
Within minutes, Viator's boat motor was kicking up mud.
He said, "What you want to do?" I said, "Let's paddle again."
The two fishermen pushed their boat toward any pocket of water they could find.
I said, "Give that boat all the gas you can swallow, and let's get out of here."
Richard watched from the balcony of a lakefront house and shot this film with his Super 8 camera.
There was nothing we could do for them. They were out in the mud, flat. The water had run out, and they were stranded on this mucky bottom.
The drilling hole expanded to crater size. The drilling platform, the rig, and a half-dozen barges were swallowed by the swirling vortex of mud and water.
The crater started growing. It started changing direction. It was peeling off as much as an acre of land at a time.
Land collapsed and trees toppled. The panicked fishermen tied their boat to a tree and were rescued by state troopers.
When I looked like that, my boat was going in that whirlpool, and that was the end of it.
As the contents of Lake Penieur began to spill into the underground salt cavern, the Delcombe Canal, which is just across the lake from here, began to flow backwards, and it formed the largest waterfall ever in the history of Louisiana. Water tumbled more than 150 feet into the massive sinkhole. It took nearly 2 days for the lake to refill. The home where Richard shot this film collapsed in the water. So did greenhouses and acres of land.
Today it's still surreal to me, and I still have nightmares about it. And basically the nightmares are my family's trapped in the house, and the house is sinking, and I'm trying to get the family out.
You ain't gonna get me to go back down there. I'm scared.
Viator also has nightmares.
I went in and see a priest, and he says, "Just say prayers when you go to bed at night." I said, "I do that, but it still bothers me. Looks like I see that whirlpool spinning. What it would have happened if I would have got stuck in it. But thank God I didn't get stuck in it."
Miraculously, no one was killed. But those who experienced the unbelievable are still haunted by what happened on this lake 30 years ago. With the Heart of Louisiana, Dave McNamara, Fox 8 News.
You can visit the site of that drilling disaster at what is now called Rip Van Winkle Gardens. The Jefferson home and the gardens are located on Lake Penieur, about 10 miles south of New Iberia.